Hi, my name's Jen. Welcome to my channel, All My Plants. Today I'm going to show you some plants that I am just in love with recently. So maybe like September favorites, kind of. Yeah, we'll go with that. I've spent about 16 hours over the past 2 days repotting plants, putting plants on poles, treating plants for pests, and moving them from the greenhouse into my house. So there's plants everywhere. There are plants in places where there are not normally plants, just because basically I was trying to get them in. You know, it is what it is until I get it figured out. Till then, we'll just have lots of plants everywhere. So the first plant I'm going to show you, it still has water spots and whatever all over it, is Philodendron adabapoense, because that's lovely. This is a new leaf. Still very soft and tender. Check out the backs. On the older leaves, I've noticed it does fade quite a bit to more of like a dark maroon, which I don't know how well that's showing up, but yeah, on that new leaf, that's really red. Can you see the difference? Yeah. So it's done well out in the greenhouse. It hasn't grown that many leaves, I think, since I've got it. Maybe 4. I don't think I've had it that long though, a couple months. It's been in the greenhouse and it was at the bottom and I might have forgotten to water it, so I've kind of had to rely on runoff from the other plants. It's kind of my method out in the greenhouse. But it's so pretty. I love it. I love it. So this one has not been repotted or anything yet. It's just been sprayed for pests. And I haven't cleaned it or anything yet. So some of these plants are very spotty. Some of them might still have spiders in them, I don't know. But so pretty though. So yeah, this one here just grabbed me because of that new leaf. Oh, the color. Oh. This one here, I thought it was dying. This is Hoya lacanosa. And if you've been with me a minute and you saw my Hoya haul, I can't remember from what month. It was a few months ago. I'm gonna say no more than 4, but more than 2, maybe. I picked up a Hoya lacanosa and I was like, oh, it has, you know, these dark, slightly splashy leaves. It's so pretty. And on the tag, which it's not on this, this is a propagation of that Hoya. It said variegated Indonesian Hoya. That is all it said. And I went, well, it's not variegated. It's got some splash on it. It's these nice dark leaves with light splash. So I don't see what they're calling variegated. I do. I do now. Do you see it? So at first I was like, oh, these leaves are getting ready to fail, but you know, you do the plunkum test and see if they fall off. And this one here is continuing to grow larger. So, I guess it really is variegated. And the rest of it's just splashy and pretty. I don't know. This leaf I think is dying. I think I burnt the crap out of it. That one. But anyway. So yeah, that's cool. Especially since I bought this one for about $20 and I bought a variegated lacanosa, a tiny cutting for more than $20. Such is life. But that's cool if it actually is variegated and it stays growing. So far so good. I love this plant. This one here has not been, I haven't done anything except for water this. I didn't even treat this for pests because I didn't see anything on it. So I'm just kind of letting it ride, which I may live to regret. But this is Syngonium Macrophila Frosted Heart. Yes. And it is lovely. I've complained about this plant before and I don't know what possessed me to complain about it. Actually, yeah, I do. I don't think it grew. It just didn't grow and it seemed to have spider mites a lot. That was, I think, in the past winter. The winter that's this past one. Yeah. But look at it. So pretty. So pretty. This plant has had some abuse outside. The older leaves, you can really see the frostedness better on these older leaves. And I've also mentioned that this plant catfished me because I thought it was going to be like velvety or suede-y. It's not. It's just very matte. But it's lovely and it's growing so well now. It needs a pull. I need to pull it. But yeah, it's doing great. Like, can we see the whole thing? Kind of. Maybe on this side where the light is. Yeah, so I'm really happy with that. I have a cutting of this actually too that's finally growing. It just took its time getting established. So now that it is, I'm pretty stoked about it. This plant here, I did pull this, repotted it. It is actually 3. One is where it's split to have 2 growth points. I don't know if you can see the stems there. There's one on this side and then there's one here. This is Philodendron Painted Lady. It's a new leaf there. I forgot this plant existed. It was in the greenhouse and it was like kind of behind a big basket of like, I think I've got micans and neon pothos growing together, which might be a weird combination, but that's, you know, what I did. And this was sitting behind that, and the basket is at least as tall as the plant. I forgot it was there. I forgot it was there, and somehow it had still grown, and it was doing great. So I picked it up and brought it in and cleaned it up and threw it on this really enormous pole. I miscounted the grid, so I mean it's a really big pole, but yeah. There are 3 plants around it, and I forgot there's another one out there, another Painted Lady. And I meant to put it on here too. I guess I don't really know where I'd put it. I mean, it's, by the time this plant gets to the top, it'll be pretty well filled out, I think. So maybe no room for another one. But nevertheless, I'm so glad I saw this plant, and I'm so glad I didn't kill it or leave it out there till it froze, or it's just grown quite well this year. It's so pretty. Like, am I the only person who loves these anymore? I don't know. It reminds me a lot of like Calkins Gold, but not. And this is Hoya Macrophila Elbow Marginata, which it really kicked butt. Woo, kicked butt this year. Like, check that leaf out. That's a pretty big leaf, huh? Look at it, it's so pretty. So it just did great this year outside. It loved it. No peduncles, which it's weird because before I put it on this little trellis here, it did have a peduncle. And I guess that just yeeted itself out of existence. That's fine. That's fine. I don't care. It's still beautiful. I would like it to flower someday though. Like if we could do that, that would be great. But yeah, like this is the best it's ever looked. And the propagation from it has gotten quite big too. I'll show you that when we go upstairs to see the mess I've made in my daughter's room. This is another plant that just got lost in the greenhouse. It's a propagation of my Monstera Standaliana. Yep, Monstera Standaliana Elbow, Standaliana, I don't know. But anyway, I have no idea how this plant survived because there was this much plant in this little teeny, in one of these cups. Like I didn't pot it that much because it was in a tiny, tiny cup. But how it survived it, I couldn't tell you because all the leaves were curled like pretty drastically, saying I'm very thirsty and I'm very dry. But it survived it, so I brought it in, repotted it, and it seems to have perked right up. And I'm just impressed with how tough these particular plants can be. I might have mentioned it, I imported this 2 years ago. It is the only thing that survived the import. The only thing. And basically the whole stem was rotted except for like maybe a single node. It had no aerial roots, like they were rotted. Adventitious roots, whatever you'd like to call them, they were rotted. Everything was rotted except for this little piece of node. And I have a lot of this plant. It's like, it's everywhere. After a year, like this is more propagations from it. That's a new leaf, it's not yellow. I had to check. But anyway, yeah. Plus the mother plant is still outside, it still has to be brought in. And I think I'm gonna try to get that on a moss pole. I know I've said before, I know. I said I hate moss poles, and I still do. But the sticks and stakes that I put in everything, they're thin and they wobble and they fall over, and I'm sick of that. And the thing with these big, huge moss poles is I can just stuff them down in the pot. They sit flat on the bottom, and it's kind of nice not to have them falling all over the place. And I was checking out, this is dry again, I need to repot this. The Monstera Elbow propagations. Some of them didn't do so well. Most of them didn't really. I mean, I don't know if you can see, there's a little bit of variegation on some of these leaves. Some of them. Others not so much. But nevertheless, this plant is lovely. It's beautiful. Even if it's only barely variegated. Barely. But there's that one. I think there's like 2 more upstairs. At least one, I'm not sure. And then there's this one, which is going the opposite direction. This is the newest leaf. It has the tiniest bit of green here at the bottom, right along the center. I don't know if it's visible. This one here was also mostly white, and it just crisped right off out in the greenhouse. Whew, I've had too much coffee today. This one was all green. Let's see, that's the original leaf I propagated it from? Maybe I lost the original leaf I propagated it from. I'm not sure. But, so yeah, this is another one we're just going to watch and see what happens. If you can see the petiole here though, there is some green on that, where the new leaf will be coming, right along there. So, hopeful-ish. And then this is the original stump that I cut that from, still with the original leaf. This was the first leaf from the propagation, the second leaf, all green, and the third leaf with a little bit of variegation. Can we see it? I'm hoping the camera's not blowing it out. But it grew from the original stump, and I've cut just about all the way through that. I don't know if you can see. But yeah, because I'm going to see if any of these other nodes slightly lower will activate. Not sure. Not sure. But it has plenty of root down in the pot from the where it grew this new plant, plus adventitious root. So you know, we'll see how it goes. This was the Hoya, I think it said Pentaflebia, and it grew quite a bit this year. It enjoyed summer vacation, I'd say. These are new. So pretty. So pretty. It also grew, I don't know if you can tell, but I've got a lot of vine wrapped around here right now. Plus it's growing more from this one. I think there's 2 separate places that decided to grow vines about 2.5 feet long. Maybe 3? That one might be 3, because it's going around like 2 or 3 times. But anyway, it grew quite a bit. I'm very happy with it. It still has active growth on it, but it's only been in here, you know, for a minute. But I'm hoping it won't slow down too much. I'm going to put it upstairs in a window at some point, after I'm pretty sure I'm not introducing pests to everybody else who's up there. But isn't that lovely? Hoya Pentaflebia. Like, I had never heard of this plant. Didn't know it existed. That one there I burnt. Whoops. But, oh, did you hear the water dripping out? Whoops. But yeah, so it's done really well. It's done really well. I will wash the water spots off of it at some point, because they're just unnecessary. And I'll show you this one again since it's right here and it's staring at me, and it has a new leaf. It is folded this way because there's a spider living under it. It's made a web. Oh, that's not coming off the same color I'm seeing it. Maybe it is. I don't know, but this is the Philodendron Summer Glory, which I kind of love. So, yeah, this was the previous new leaf, I believe. Although this one has more new leaf color, so I don't know. It's kind of like a coppery color underneath. This one here, even with his little spider, it's like in the fold. I didn't spray him, by the way. Well, only with water. And I think they need that to live too. I don't know. But anyway, this one here is doing really well, and I like it more and more all the time. So I hope it continues to do well. I don't have the greatest humidity in winter, so we'll see. What do I have in here? 2 growth points? Yeah, it looks like 2 growth points. Nope, 3. Yeah, so hopefully I don't kill any of those off this year. We can hope not, right? I don't know why I have to pick them off, but I do. Anyway, Summer Glory. Okay, I guess let's go see the mess I've made upstairs. Okay, so this one here, this is my Philodendron gigantium, which I cut its head off because it was twice this tall. This is about as high as my waist. So the actual growing point is way down here. But yeah, I just top cut it and I'm hoping that it'll root. It had a massive, I'll stick in some like B-roll over here where you can see the massive roots that this thing had. You can kind of see some down there in the pot. Like they were just everywhere. So it shouldn't be an issue. The plant's still perky and standing up by itself, so yay for that. And then another one, hi Winky, burn the dirt in the floor, was this Philodendron Camposportuanum. Once again, I'll stick in some B-roll of that over there because I cut it. It didn't have anywhere left to go. And I had this stick that's a tack, supposedly keeping it from falling to the floor because I did drop this plant and broke the growing point, or no, I broke a new leaf off. It's top heavy, it falls over. So yeah, I cut its head off. And then this is the remainder of the plant. See, here's the leaf that broke when it fell over. A new leaf, growth point, another growth point. And I think I put a baby in here with it. Well, I say baby of propagation somewhere. Yeah, right there. So that's cool. Hopefully it does okay. I mean, I'm sure it'll love this once it grabs hold. Like we have adventitious roots everywhere already anyway. I don't have much of a problem getting this plant to root, so I just plunked it in there and what it had is what it had. I really think it's going to be just fine, and hopefully we won't lose much of our size. I'm not too terribly worried that it will. And then one somebody asked me about not too long ago was Philodendron mayoi, because I propagated this in a video. This was the first leaf after I propagated it, but then this is the very next leaf. So it didn't lose much size at all. It did for a minute, but it just went, oh, okay. So this is what we're doing now, yeah. And then this is Willow. No. Yeah, no. She's cute. Gus and Winky. Don't look at my socks. Okay, anyway. And then this is the propagation I was talking about of the, look at the little splashing. It used to be Hoya Macrophila Elbow Marginata. I guess now it's Hoya latifolia outer variegated. But yeah, so it's done fine. It was just a couple leaves. 3 maybe? I don't know, but yeah, doing good. And this is kind of the overall view of the mess I've made in my daughter's room. She doesn't seem mad about it. Yeah. So quickly, Philodendron Bloody Mary, Gigantium, who are you? Pedatum, behind the huge Gigantium leaf there, the pole you can just kind of see. That's Paraiso Verde, still being very unimpressive. Then in the front is the, who are you? Camposportuanum top cut, Tripartitum right here on this pole, and then Philodendron Silver Stripe there on the small green stake, and then behind that what's the remainder, the bottom half of the Camposportuanum. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on over there. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's kind of what I had going on, just trying to show you some plants that have been catching my eye, a little bit of what's going on. The havoc that I'm creating with all the plants, let's put it that way. Like there's just, this is all plants all the way across. There's plants back here. There's even plants sitting on the floor. I don't know if you can see them. Plants all the way down here. Normally I have plants on here, but like I can't fit one more plant on here right now. Like, isn't that pretty? Marble Queen pothos. Anyway, like there's, you know, it's havoc. But that's what's been going on. Thank you for watching, and come back and check me out again soon. Bye.